get rid of Minecraft.
Question number 1. Is
Answer.
your plan to like chain all these chests together, freeze them, and then drag this ice block back with you?
Yeah.
Question
well, okay,
number...
there's if people are upset about that, there's one thing I can try first.
Okay.
I'm immune to poison, so I can take the chest into the lab. One of them. I can get some of the alchemist's fire, and I can see if we can burn this stuff.
Okay, is that what you're doing?
I don't know. I'm proposing that to the rest of them.
It's worth
I think
a
it's
shot.
probably safer to try it here, so yeah.
I'm curious.
Where is everybody
Everyone else
else
stay
when
back.
this happens?
I mean, I'm going to stay close, because if someone's going to pull him out, it's going to be the other person who's immune to poison.
Can anyone get me like a 10-foot pole or something so I can push this under the wall in case it all goes to hell? Without getting close to it.
Don't have a 10-foot pole.
So what are you actually doing? Just getting this chest next to the water and opening it up and then...
Were all the chests are made of metal?
Yes, the 6 chests were mostly identical. The 3 chests you found down here had hooks in the top where the chains could be attached to, but there were no chains on those chests.
Yeah, I'm gonna rig up a piece of rope on the back of the chest so I can pull it open from the other side, and I'm going to throw an alchemist fire into it from the other side of the room, like maybe 10 feet away.
Put you where you are, and everybody else, where are you? And are there closed doors in between you all?
Birdie's here, like, basically half asleep. He doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
He's got a
I'm
tummy
gonna-
ache.
I'm going to stay relatively close to Destil, just because I want to be able to pull him out
Okay.
if I have to.
Status of this door?
Closed.
Is it a door or is it a...
It's
is it
door.
This one's a curtain.
The curtains are marked with purple lines.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty sure this one's a curtain too, because I almost shot it out last session.
Yeah, you're right. I might have accidentally deleted that line when I got rid of the black space around it. But yeah, he's also a curtain. I need... So you're opening the chest and then throwing the grease fire into it?
Alchemist fire into it, yep.
I need Windy and Red each to make a Constitution saving throw.
Is this against magic or spell?
Nope.
That's a 4.
A 4?
21.
21. Red.
Mm-hmm.
10 points of acid damage. Windy, you can cut that in half. As soon as the flammable liquid of this alchemist fire hits the chest, the thing essentially explodes into this cloud of extremely acrid gas, and it's very sticky. The air is heavy with this film, and you're going to repeatedly take this damage every round that you're in this room.
Alright. I'm going to cast Gust and spray it all over the water.
Spray it all
Get
over
the
the
hell
water.
away from us.
Okay. And you have to spend a blip to cast that, or you do that with your...
No, this is my
That's your
this
That's
is
the
my
cantrip.
cantrip.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Using gusts, you can clear a space around you that will allow you to make future Constitution saves add advantage. But being a cantrip, this is not actually strong enough to cause it to dissipate.
Sure, that's fine. But I think the plan was just to get enough space that we could open up the door and get out.
Okay, I need Adrex to make me a Constitution saving throw at advantage.
It's pretty good. That is a 26.
Alright, it's
26. 2 points of acid damage, Adrex. As you're waiting around the corner here, you hear the door burst open, and this cloud of black, tinged with orange and yellowy looking smoke comes billowing out with the two of them. And you're standing far enough away that you only get the barest hints of it in your nostrils, but it's enough to make you writhe up your face, and the back of your throat gets clogged with mucus. You guys slam the door behind you, and It's not billowing out through the cracks of the door, but it looks like burning this substance is not a safe way to get rid of it.
Okay, here's the thing, though.
But it did get rid of it.
It did get rid of it.
If it
I
reacted,
feel like
it's
that was
probably not that kind of potion anymore.
that was a
We just need
success.
to do it
right,
outside. Yeah, we
Right.
just need to do this outside. And
Or,
preferably
I
for
mean-
greater... Oh,
yeah,
but all
we
the,
just
all
put
the
it-
alchemist's fires in the room we just filled with poisonous gas.
Well, with that's a wait and see solution. But I think we don't even do it outside. We just put it in one of these hallways. I'll back the fuck up. I'll shoot it with a fire
yeah.
arrow.
Well, the main problem is opening the things, right?
Opening the what? A chest?
Oh, do you think we can make the fire hot
They're
enough
not
to
going
burn
to
through the
burn.
chests?
I'm saying let's just spray the chest with the alchemist fire, and then the chest will just explode. But I mean, problem solved. I mean, I feel like Wendy and Red are having this conversation in front of everyone who just saw this horrible shit just go down.
Yes, that's
Red,
exactly
this is
what's happening.
between. This is gasping breaths on Red's part too. Like every couple of words, he has to stop,
This is
cough.
Like, how much oil do we have left?
clearly taking the
Well, I
taking
took the oil out of the lab.
taking these chests back to the thing to the rat
Red,
hole,
you seem
which
to be
is
having some
untenable.
problems breathing. Like, try breathing the air where the poison isn't.
It's not really poison. It'd be fine if it was poison. It's more of an acid.
You guys suck.
It's the same principle.
Does anybody comment that this is untenable?
All right, so we have
Nobody thinks
4 boxes left, right? No, 5 boxes.
Right.
We only have to do this 5 more times.
Jesus.
I mean, I think we could use chamber number 12. Just go under the water.
Yeah, we just blow it up, dive
Hey,
under the
Adrex,
water. That's our exit strategy.
Does your wand start fires? Like, if I pointed it at something that's flammable, will it actually ignite, or is it just sparkly?
I think it's just sparkly. Let me
We
get the
could,
detail.
We could take some of these wooden shelves and break them and put it around it, cover it all in oil, and just let it burn.
Also, point of
Yeah,
order.
it's
This orc can't
It
breathe
makes a
underwater.
crackling noise. And
Oh, we have plenty of breathe water left in the wand.
It's as bright as a torch flame, but not an actual flame.
It's fine. We have fire.
Okay, so what's the plan here?
I think
Does that seem right to you, Wendy, that we put them all in chamber 12?
we put them all
That
in
one's
chamber
sealed off from
12,
everything else.
douse it in alchemist fire, light it up, and then we swim away.
Yeah.
And we put a big hazardous waste sign on this cavern.
Got to keep up our OSHA compliance. Yes.
Right, yeah.
That's
I
funny.
mean, is this technically a super fun site?
that,
It's not OSHA, it's SOSHA. It's Snake OSHA.
that actually happened to us yesterday in our D&D game last night. We went into this cave,
Okay.
and it's like there's runes scribed on the ground, and I was like, I can read that language. He's like, yeah, it's essentially, it says warning, keep out. I'm like, oh, we're gonna keep going in the cave. He's like, there's stuff on the walls, and it's an ice cave. I'm gonna see if it melts. It's like, oh, it's brown mold, and all of you take a shitload of damage.
Yeah. It's just
Makes
OSHA
sense.
compliance.
Yeah.
I've told you guys the OSHA compliance that comes up in my games constantly is my players are constantly asking me which way the doors open.
hmm
I keep telling them
They all open both
all
ways.
the doors are OSHA compliant. They open inwards.
All right, so there's 2 boxes we have to get out of here, which could be problematic. And there's these 3.
What about? Okay, he did tab those. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we open the doors between here and outside? Hope that some of this gas can escape so we can get into the lab and get those other boxes?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of remember where everything is, and I don't really need to see. I feel like I can get it all out of there, taking a minimum of horrible burning.
Okay.
So, Wendy, you're going to drag the 3 boxes out of there?
The boxes? I thought the boxes were.
There's 2 left in here on chains. And they're underwater, actually, so that's actually fine.
Yeah, we don't need to get the boxes.
left
I need to
those
get the
underwater.
alchemist fire.
Oh, okay. So I think we have to take off people's armor and go through these little tunnels. Is there anything else you want to do in this area? We just gonna let these things starve to death?
Seems fine to me.
Alright.
So, Wendy, how are you going to know which vial is alchemist fire compared to the other stuff in this room?
Where was that? Where was the alchemist fire at?
Can I describe to him which shelf has alchemist fire on?
I'll just get everything in the shelf. Like, I just need to know a shelf.
Well, you're going to be, if you're going to unload everything on a particular shelf, you're going to be in the room for probably a couple minutes, because you're going to take a couple trips. This is a well-stocked laboratory.
I'll get as much as I can. I'll roll some percentile dice. I'll burn some key points. I'm very fast. I feel good about my chances.
Okay.
So is there anything else we want to do before we take off armor and go through these narrow tunnels again?
No.
Wendy.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Make me a perception check at disadvantage.
Okay. That's a 12.
12. Okay. Make me 2 Constitution saving throws.
Okay.
The time you spend in the room attempting to grab vials of alchemist fire.
That's a 16 and a 17. Or, no, an 18.
4 points of acid damage. Well, 8 points, but you can cut that in half.
Yeah.
And then 5 points acid damage. As you're in there for about 30 seconds, fishing around the shelves that Red directed you towards, and you grab several flasks off the shelf that feel like they're full of liquid to you. And you come back with 3 such flasks.
Red, how's this look?
Is that alchemist fire?
Give you 60% per flask that it's alchemist fire.
Alright, I'll roll these. So 0 through 5 or 0 through 6? How does that work?
Just roll
0 through
percentile
5.
dice and roll under 60.
0. 1. 0 again.
Nice.
Yeah, 3 such flasks. And Wendy, you're finding it actually difficult to speak at this point. The residue of this smoke. When you went in the room, it had dissipated near the doorway where you threw up a gust, but it seems to have been hanging in the air. It was lingering there.
Alright.
Okay, so let's gather up all the chests and put them in the back of room 12.
So you're going to build a big fire in the middle of this room, over these
Yep.
boxes, pour these flasks of alchemist fire on them, light them on fire, then dive into the water.
That's
Yep.
the plan.
All right.
And just to be clear, we're not going to look at the explosion.
Okay.
I can't. I'm blind.
So you ignite this bonfire.
Once Adrex takes his armor off, he's not going to put it back on, so he's just going to be in the water as this happens.
So Adrex, from your vantage point at the bottom of the pool, looking up, basically, for a moment you see the rippling of the top of the water. Then you see it disturbed as Wendy jumps back in. And then it's just all black. It fills entirely with this void of blackness. And it's impenetrable.
And no one's ever going into that chamber ever again.
What did you do with Big Bold?
We have more charges in the wand, right?
Yeah, I thought we were just going to blast him with it.
Yeah, we'll hit everybody again. Top everyone off.
Okay.
Then we
But
got
just to be clear, I feel like if we bring him, I feel like he might want to just head down the river because I think if we bring him back to Rat Town, we'll just kill him.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Do you tell him that?
Yeah.
Like, I think we should tell him, like, why don't we send him to the dam?
That's where all you orcs hang out.
Just tell them we sent them. You're-
No.
I think that's a really good idea.
What do you
No,
mean?
it is a really good idea.
Like, he needs somewhere to go. Everyone he knows and loves is dead. Like, they were killed by Yuan-ti. And using horrific experiments.
Well, some of them were killed by hobgoblins.
Right, that's also fine. But, like,
Well,
It's
good
the
news,
only
they're not
place-
huge fans of hobgoblins either down there, so...
So when you're ready to leave the complex, you tell them you're parting ways with Vigbold, right? You're not taking him with you.
I mean, we've already got, like, a human following us around.
It's
Well,
a whole thing at
Rolf
this
is
point.
back at the Warrens. I was assuming you did
Yeah,
not bring him with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He hasn't
yeah.
been
He did not come with us on this
No.
mess.
Unless Adrex wants to teach
Rolf's
him how to
already
be a-
been eaten by rats, like...
Maybe Raazu can teach him how to be a paladin.
Yeah, but I don't see why we should give him directions to the
Yeah,
to the
that's a good
dam.
idea.
Like, if he needs somewhere to go, that's probably
Who
the
do
best
you tell
place.
him is awaiting at the Mogder Dam? Because first
Well,
of all,
Raazu
that's
mentioned-
pretty far away from here. That's
Raazu had mentioned the name Nuga. I don't know if he
he didn't know.
gave enough
Nuga.
of a fuck.
No.
Okay.
Well,
Adrex played translator.
he was an enemy of the person of just this orc I killed, and I'll show him my sick orc great. He hated that guy. So, like, I don't know, maybe you're also an enemy of this guy?
What's the name of that other one? The Bolog's Butchers?
Zologs. But
Zolog.
Yeah.
Zolog, Bolog, it's fine, whatever.
But the
All
ones at the
orcs-
dam are the 1,000 arrows. They're not
Yep.
the butchers.
No, I'm talking about like, the
Yeah.
enemy, the ones that we killed a lot of. We
Big
killed
fans of Thousand Arrows.
Like,
He expresses his gratitude for freeing him from the Yuan-ti cell, but he gives no indication that he's going to travel to the Mogder Dam.
Hey
Maybe-
man, we were just telling him where they were. Like, he's free to do whatever. We don't own him.
like, where's he going? Will he tell us where he is going? In case we head that way.
He tells you he's going to follow the river downstream until he reaches sunlight.
That sounds like a plan. Don't go enslaving anyone or we'll have to kill you. It was nice meeting you.
And you guys are heading back to the Warrens then?
Yeah.
So there's one thing you guys should know before back to the is that Mellison they captured.
Sure.
You understand why he didn't approve of this operation, right? It's not that he has any feelings like he should, or that they shouldn't capture or poison or torture people. He just had a bizarre religious. He felt they were doing it the wrong way. Like, we don't need to worry about him.
Wait,
Particularly looking at Adrex here.
wait. Are you saying you do have feelings that that's wrong?
Of course it's wrong.
Yes, but like, you don't have feelings.
No.
You just like, I feel like Red has this, like, he has like the academic knowledge of what's right and wrong. Like,
Red
and then-
can't feel sadness, and that makes him very sad.
That makes him very sad, yes.
Red has like a
I wanted
laminated
to joke.
page with like emojis that are labeled.
And he just points to them.
he just pulls out these cards.
But like,
So-
it's not that he's a good person or trying or cares about the lives of anybody. He just thought that it was a bizarre religious thing that he didn't like this particular way of poisoning people.
Okay, so what are you saying? We should kill him?
I'm saying, yeah,
Okay,
don't torture him, but I don't see any reason to let him live.
sure, you got it.
But he's doing us a favor. Like, he's doing good. You can't just kill someone when they're doing good.
Well,
What good?
Adrex, what do you think he'll do if he gets freed and he gets to go off on his own way?
I don't know.
He'll go and he'll eat people, Adrex. Are you pro eating people?
Pro eating you.
Look, I'm not particularly happy about the way it worked out, but that's just what this person is.
Also, Adrex, like, just to be clear, we don't have any, like, Yuan-ti issue. Like, we like Red. It's just these specific Yuan-tis suck. Maybe we should find them a new god that doesn't suck.
I mean, they're called the Swallowers, Adrex. That's not.
Hey, actually, why don't we just find a god that doesn't suck for everyone? Because it seems like all the problems that we've been running into are just because everyone has a shitty god.
I mean, my god isn't terrible.
I
as
hope
far as I
present
know.
company is excluded.
See?
Raazu says
So it
very
is
dryly.
possible to have a good Yuan-ti god, or at least neutral.
Well, no, it's
Neutral?
actually my god. My god actually is trying to contain the god of the Yuan-ti. So
See,
they kind of
there
get
you
mixed
go.
messages sometimes. So I'm pretty sure, like, it's hard to explain, but basically sometimes when they think they're talking to the demon that they revere, they talk to the golden serpent instead. But it might also
Don't
be
worry.
another thing happens.
Don't worry, Raazu. And Adrex pats Raazu on the back. I think all gods are shit.
Hey,
Raazu's very upset and just keeps pulling down the river to get back to this fucking.
I like to think that during this, Raazu is pulling the giant ice cube all by herself.
Adrex, I'm just saying, if you follow the Wind Dukes, we'll, I don't know, get you wings or something.
Wings are stupid. What am I gonna do?
Fly?
I also follow a giant serpent with wings, for what it's worth.
Yeah, see? All the winged gods. Fantastic. Wait,
Birdie-
no, those dragons suck. All the winged non-dragon gods.
Okay. Okay. That's all I got. I'm just like, oh.
Like we've seen no evidence your god is not shit, Raazu.
Clearly, what we need to do is we need to become gods, and then we won't suck, and we can rule over people, and it'll be great.
Or, if we became gods, then we would suck.
I mean, the only argument you could make
That's
about
true.
Raazu's god is that Raazu's god sent her back. So, it seems okay to me.
Yeah. But Raazu hits me with the whip. So I don't
You
know.
may not be
We'll call
the
that
only one I do at this rate. Raazu looks very impatient.
Okay, that might actually put Raazu's god in a slightly less good note, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Traveling back to the Warrens is faster than traveling away from it, because now you're moving downstream. And at one of the forks, McDohl takes his leave of you. And the rest of you come back to the underground river that is beneath the pool of cool water that bubbles up into the Warrens.
Raazu comes out and, where's our doohickeys? Our doohickeys vanished.
It's because I deleted them.
That was nice of you.
Here, use these ones.
Initiative is over.
Are you guys
No.
going to fight the rat folk?
No.
Hell
Maybe.
yeah!
There are more baked goods down here every time I look. Don't know what's happening.
No,
It's not-
sandwich.
As you pull yourselves up out of the pool and enter back into the Warrens, you very quickly begin to be mobbed by the denizens of the Rat Folk City. And the few of them that are able to speak the common tongue, primarily Sizz, the leader of the Zerich, their bandit group, begins pummeling you with questions about where you went and what you were able to accomplish and what was done.
Okay, well,
Well,
they think
we
this
found a
water is-
bunch of the acid, and we got rid of it. That problem solved.
He translates that, and you see the wave of relief issue out over the crowd.
We killed a lot of the swallowers.
Yep. A lot of them are dead now.
So
Also,
Sizz asks
two
that
demons.
all of the swallowers are dead now then, as well.
Well, all of the swallowers that were creating the poison are dead, we think.
He asks
But-
how many you left alive.
I'm gonna need someone else to cut in here because I wasn't here when you guys actually saw that horrible city.
Like the only swallower that actually Oh, right, the horrible city.
Yeah.
1 plus a city.
So, Red, you described the city for Sizz,
Mhm.
and it becomes apparent pretty quickly that the extent, the size of this tribe of swallowers had never been made known to them before. And you just see this look of dread as he translates for the rest of the rat people. You see Frelish, the herbalist that you spoke to. Her face goes completely white, where she was always very motherly and jovial. She just looks very blank and sour hearing this news. You see Bad Ears, the Kobold, out at the back of the group when he hears this news, slinks away in the shadows back towards where the Zerich headquarters is. And there's a lot of murmuring and a lot of fear and a lot of discussion. And all in the rat folk tongue that none of you pick up on. And it becomes apparent that the meeting of the Council of the Elders of the Warrens is about to convene to discuss this issue.
All right.
Well, our good deed's done. Where do you guys want to go now? We should probably go kill the snake guy before we go.
Well, I think the rat folk will see to that, but the problem is that this situation is clearly not settled.
Did they not know that there was a city there?
Doesn't sound it.
Like, can we... Adrex, can you work out in your head how far you'd go over based on how far we swam? I can't. Not that far.
Oh.
I know
And
what room
Adrex is
they won't be
thinking
building.
really hard.
Adrex has that background feature, doesn't he?
Oh, you mean uses background feature?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he has an excellent
Gathers
memory for
where-
maps and geography.
Don't know if that would be applicable here, but...
So what's the background feature and what's the effect?
You have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and you can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you. In addition, you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 500 people each day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth.
This is not something that you'd be intuitively aware of, but if we
Mhm.
sat you down with the proper tools, you could put together a basic crude map of the area and start determining some of these answers. Right off the top of your head, you wouldn't know, but you would know how to find out based on the direction you took upriver and based on the curvature of the river. But you'd have to make some guesses and inferences because you haven't made the journey overland.
I mean, I'd have to sit down and work it all out, but I have a general idea using the river and stuff to figure out just
Okay.
how far away it is.
Okay, if you want to do that, then if you want to get started on that, that'd be good.
Well, I guess my main question is find out if the scouts have gone that far from this village.
You can always counter scout.
Scounter.
So what do you ask the... It would be the Zerich who go out, or the hunters who have encountered them in the past. Who are you asking?
I would say the Zerich who've... Well, did the Zerich ever encounter the Yuan-ti?
Oh yeah.
The Zerich and the
Yeah.
hunters that go out both have. But it seems like what has happened is they've encountered their slaving parties from time to time who go out into the wilds, but they give them a wide berth. So they assumed that that's all there was to them. They hadn't realized that these small slaving parties that go out looking to capture wayward travelers actually came from a city of hundreds or maybe thousands of these creatures. This settlement that Red saw was easily the largest settlement he'd ever laid eyes on. You guys typically are traveling. Typically, you travel through small villages, small towns.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrex would be willing to go a scouting party to try and figure out the actual distance and see just how far their scouts go, and if they have any inclination that there is a ratful here.
That information would be helpful, but what I'm saying is you'd be able to figure this out right now, just sitting down with the equipment and spending a few hours working at it.
All right,
Because
then,
you've made the journey, and you know what direction you were traveling, you know the shape of the river, and you know how long it took you to make the journey.
Well, in that case, Adrex can go do that while everyone else talks.
Okay.
Yeah, Raazu would be keeping an eye on the council and not really contributing, but
Okay, so where is Adrex? Go ahead and plop yourself down wherever you are working.
Uh,
And Raazu is going to the council.
yeah.
the hunters stay in, where is it, 3?
I believe so. I'll double check for you. It's been a minute since I had this open.
Because that's where Adrex would go.
Yeah, this area back here is the majority of the family warrens. So the hunters would live in this area with their respective families. And you have the equipment you need. You have like pens and parchment and a straight edge and a compass and all that stuff.
No, I don't even have anything like that. That's like red stuff. That's like all smarty pants stuff. It's not like an Adrex thing. Adrex keeps all the weapons in gold, apparently.
Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Yep.
Adrex, make an intelligence check. Oh, 15.
Okay. There's a fairly wide margin of error because the river did not stay a particular due course. There were bends and you took forks here and there. And you weren't swimming up the river. You were actually marching along the bottom of it, which is very strange. But you figure you probably covered between 8 and 12 miles in a west by northwesterly direction. Adrex didn't actually look out the front door, though, did he? Of the lab. Is that correct? I know Red did, but I don't recall if Adrex did.
I don't think he did. I think Red was the only one who...
I think Red was the only one, yeah.
The way Red described it, the entrance to the lab was inside the stone wall of this very deep ravine. It was open to the sky at the top, but the city itself was built down in this deep ravine, in between these two large mountains, such that an overland route might be very tricky. So between 8 and 12 miles in that particular direction, and if there's no overland route in or out of that ravine, it would explain why the Yuan-ti don't move out in force out into the wilds. They might only have entrances that go in through caves or rivers or what have you. So yeah, it's entirely possible that unless these rat folk went out exploring out in the mountains, which they have very pointedly not been doing,
Right.
that they don't know anything about the surroundings outside of their little patrol areas.
And Adrex relays that information to everyone in the party.
Okay. What is Windy and Birdie and Red doing?
Birdie is asleep.
Okay, so Birdie's
He's just curled up like down here, and he's just asleep because he doesn't feel.
Sucking his thumb.
I mean, no.
Hmm.
He's just kind of laid.
We're not gonna judge.
My headcanon's different from yours, but okay.
You know how like you ever just like hit a couch at like just belly first and just not moving?
You're asleep
Like, it's-
before you even hit.
Like there's some question about whether or not you're even breathing.
I hate to
That's-
break it to you, but there are no couches in the Rat War.
I know there's not a couch. He's on the ground right here.
What is
I
Red
mean,
doing?
He's about the size of a rat, so I'm sure he can find a nice cozy place.
Cracked his head on a rock falling down.
Red's just listening to the console.
Okay. And Adrex is mapping. What's Wendy doing?
I think Wendy will listen to the council as well.
Okay. You guys don't understand a word of what's being said. But there
Raazu
is
would
this
be
great deal
pressing-
of urgency. Raazu will be what?
Pressing says for
Actually-
translations.
I'm gonna change my mind real quick. Take that non-cipher bonus. I'm gonna go talk to the Duchess. Oh wait, she's gone, isn't
Yeah,
she?
she left.
She already left.
F. I'm gonna go talk to the alchemist. Isn't part of the council, right?
No.
I'm gonna talk to her.
Okay. And Frelish informs you that the discussion is turning to whether or not they should attempt to relocate the Warrens. Head out into the wilds and find a safer place. This is not unheard of with their people. It's something they have to do from time to time. We've all seen Watership Down, but the problem is this is the most comfortable and, as far as they knew, safest place that they've had in several generations now. And moving always comes with extreme risk, because even if you're extremely careful, there's always eyes watching from the air and the water. So this is not a decision the council is taking very lightly. But the Swallower threat, if what you're saying is true, is much greater than any of them knew. And what's next?
Raazu would go up to Red and say, what do you think we could do about that city?
I mean, it's a city. There's not a lot you can do. Who knows? They probably have more slaves there than that folk.
Well, wait though, because you were saying that this person was saying that there was a religious issue. Like their religion said they shouldn't do shit like this, but then
Right.
that changed.
No, they were heretics. That's why he wanted them killed.
Okay, so where did the heretics come from?
What I got from it was that they were apparently received divine inspiration to
From
make
like,
new poisons.
for example, some sort of like gold-bearing demon? Because that's the
didn't get
divine
the-
inspiration that seems to have been changing recently.
I didn't get the specifics. He seemed to think that he seemed to think that they thought that it came from their god, the god of the Red Star.
The
Right,
Red
but
Star.
you were just telling me how they're very easily fooled by other gods.
But didn't you just say that they had discarded the Red Star standard? Yeah, because you found that in the
Right.
waterway.
Right. Again, the heretics. So I don't know. We'd have to go down and actually look and listen to things. I could maybe give you a better idea of what their exact religious outlook is. They're not exactly the same, from what I could tell, as what I was raised to believe.
I'm just saying that, like, I haven't seen a lot of coincidences in this journey, and a demon suddenly causing tons of issues, and then, oh, also, these guys had this religious vision. It's just, it seems like a bit much, especially considering we found one of those demons in their warren in the lab.
Right.
But he was willing to turn his back on them once things didn't.
Oh yeah, he was
going out
definitely
of his
screwing
favor.
with them, but that doesn't help us. I think that's what we need to go deal with. And that was kind of the whole reason we came here to begin with.
It's true.
And we could at least get more information. I don't know. I don't think I can just walk in there. Like, probably with some preparation, I can make my way in. Depends on how organized they are. City that size, I mean, they might have roles. Could be very difficult to get in if they're good at doing what they are supposed to be doing.
Plus, we know of at least one that fled the city or fled the laboratory.
Right. Though we don't know if
Two,
he's
actually.
Where are you guys
more
having this
afraid of-
conversation? Are you still with Frelish?
Probably up.
Yeah, I think probably.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to hide it from her.
Yeah.
During the course of this conversation, as you're discussing the various options that you have available to you. Raazu, you notice that Frelish begins looking less and less worried the more she listens to you talk, to the point where it no longer looks like she's splitting her attention between this council and you guys, but more like she's heard something that she considers as a great relief. And now she's just focused on listening to you guys hash this out.
Rosie looks to Frelish and smiles a little bit. Did you catch this one in a dream too?
And she tells you that the Dreamers had showed her the great boon that you would do for her and her people.
Frelish, do you have anyone who can read their scripts? Because I speak the same language, but everything I found was garbled and unintelligible.
Raazu looks back toward where the prison area is.
Yeah, and she confirms that probably the only person here that could would be the prisoner.
Birdie, you grabbed a couple of those books, right?
Birdie's asleep.
We look
okay.
around, turn around for Birdie, he's gone.
So going through Birdie's bag, making sure there's no coins. Are there any coins in Birdie's bag?
No, there's no coins in his bag, but you do find some of the materials that he pulled out of the Hydroloth's quarters. Frelish tells you that she's going to go have her conversation with Pran the Pit Watcher. And that when she's done, they'll be able to offer you the assistance she saw in her dreams. Offer you a shadow that will cloak your entrance into the Swallower City.
That seems convenient.
Shall I come with you?
You can, if you want.
All right, Raazu will go with Frelish.
Can I get access to the jail right now, or do I have to pull away from the...
You'd have to... I mean, it looks like most of the Warrens are here. You identify most of the Zirich that you know. But nobody moves to stop you if you head in that direction. So, Raazu, you're going with Frelish to speak with the Pit Watcher.
Yeah.
Birdie is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Adrex and Wendy going?
I think I can only think of one vitally important task to accomplish. I'm gonna go cook.
Called that one.
Mm-hmm.
And what's Adrex doing during this time?
Adrex wants an actual layout of the land at this point, and get to figure out where exact. He wants the definitive answer so that they're not surprised when they actually go off this track.
So to do this, you would have to mount an expedition up into the mountains. Because remember, these mountains give way to a pretty stark cliff face.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be doing a lot of exhausting climbing, and even 8 or 12 miles of that kind of travel. This would probably take you several days, and would be very dangerous.
How much time do we have?
Now, you're not on a time limit that I'm aware of.
We still have the element of surprise, so... Adrex has his climbing kit. He's willing to do it.
Okay, so you're
unless someone stops him.
Go out overland? Do you tell them where you're going, at least? What you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should
How long
probably...
do you think you'll be out?
Several days, at least.
All right, we can do what preparations we need here. Is there anything you need us to do for you?
Not unless you've got some way to make it easier for me to stealth, Adrex says jokingly.
All right, Adrex.
Yeah.
Make me... Here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
I want you to make me a survival check, DC 10.
Mm-hmm.
Mark down how much you make the check by.
Mm-hmm.
And then keep making those checks until you get a total of 10 successes. Does that make sense?
Yes. So make a roll.
Make a roll.
Add my survival to it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep track of
Keep
how
track
much
of
I break it.
everything you get over 10.
Everything I get over 10.
And I need to know how many rolls it takes you to get up to 10 cumulative
10 success.
successes.
All right.
Red, you're going back to speak with the prisoner?
Yeah.
And Wendy's going off to prepare food. Good news, Red.
Mm-hmm.
You have your conversation with Adrex. He slings his
Yeah.
pack on his back. Adrex, are you leaving before or after you take a rest? Are you leaving immediately?
You can take a long rest in the wilderness.
In fact, you're very good at it.
Yeah, Adrex would leave immediately.
Okay. Let me get my random encounter table here.
Hey, man, you might level.
Boy, get wings. It might be way faster to come back.
Red, nobody stops you as you go back into the prison. But as you come into the Zarich area, you see the guard that's been left outside of Whitesnake's cell.
Yeah.
And he's shirking his duty. He's actually sitting on the floor next to the cell with his head kind of bowed, and you think he's asleep.
Mm-hmm. Was the door locked traditionally, or is it just barred?
It's locked, but you remember they had to kind of import this door from
That's
somewhere
right.
else, and they don't
Yeah,
have
that's
a key
right, they
to
picked the
it.
lock.
Open every time we wanted to get in there.
And as you
Yeah,
come
let me
in,
just pick the lock then.
when you get that close, you realize this guard isn't sleeping. He's dead, and he has a crossbow bolt sticking out of his belly.
Dagger out into the chamber.
So you pick the lock and head into the chamber.
Oh, is it not? It is not locked. All right, I thought it wouldn't be locked.
It is.
I thought it would be
Yeah,
open.
you have to pick the lock and go into it. It looks like it has not been disturbed.
Okay, in that case, I am not going into the room. So it's definitely locked. Can I listen at the door to see if I can tell if the white snake is still breathing on the other side?
Oh yeah, he's still in there, and you hear the movement far back around the back corner.
Mhm.
And as you approach, you hear the sound of scrambling inside, like he's trying
okay.
to
Yeah,
push
pick the
himself
lock.
further away. Pick the lock and go in, and the white snake, as you come in, he lifts his snaky arms up over his face, and you can tell that he's bracing for a blow.
Mhm.
What do you hit him with?
I'm looking around to see if there's anyone else in here. Does he have a crossbow?
There's nobody else in here. He's alone.
Back through, pop the lock back on,
Okay.
and whistle very loudly. That's what you do. What these rats do. Is the other rat dead?
There's only one here, and yes, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if he's dead, let's not non-cipher bonus. Don't whistle very loudly. Let's do a real investigation. If I can find any tracks or anything or signs of what happened.
Looks like somebody shot him with a crossbow.
What?
That's
20.
Wait, hold up there, Sherlock. You don't know that. Someone could have stabbed him with a
He
crossbow.
could have
I've done
tripped
it.
and shot himself with a crossbow.
Someone could have had a crossbow shot at them, grabbed it out of the air, thrown it at the guard.
And stabbed themselves.
So what are you actually, like, what are you doing to conduct this investigation?
I'm mostly looking for footprints, and the other thing I guess that might be relevant is seeing if there's like any place that I would think like a crossbow's missing. Like, is there an armory in the immediate area?
They do have their weapon racks in here when they're not in use. And there are a few crossbows. But having not previously taken inventory and not having knowledge of how many Zarich there are or what they arm themselves with, you can't be certain if one is missing.
Any other sign of how someone, like footprints or anything like that in the blood?
No, you don't see any tracks in the dust here. And the blood is pooling up underneath the body, and there aren't tracks. There's not bloody tracks leading to or away, which tells you that he was just fired at from across the room.
What's the head Zarich's name?
Sizz.
Sizz, get over here. Nobody else.
You come and pull him away from the council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. And Sizz he's splitting his attention between you and the council, and he gives you this look like whatever you have going on is not more important than this. This is of great importance to my people, and he starts to brush you off.
Sizz, get over here. He can make a DC 16 will save.
Can he, though?
Unlikely.
Oh, he actually rolls a 19.
Oh, okay.
What are you trying to do to him?
Suggestion.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
This is serious.
He asks you what the emergency is.
I don't want to start a panic. Come here. I also don't want the area to be trampled over by a bunch of people.
Sis turns to his sister, Cheth, and says something to her in the rat folk tongue, and she just gives a curt nod. And then he comes away with you.
And once we're out of earshot, I'll say that one of the guard that you had on the jail cell was shot. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
When you come around the corner and he sees the body, he takes up a pike from the wall. And he turns to you. Did you see who did this?
No, or is there a bow missing?
And before you can even ask him another question, he's darting back out to the middle of the room. And you hear shouting. And then you hear the sounds of chaos and panic.
Birdie
This
sits
is
up.
why I tried to control his mind. He didn't listen when I said not to panic people.
Guys, calm down. I'm not done cooking yet. Wait your turn.
Raazu.
Yo.
Frelish takes you to the end of the pit. And there is some infrastructure down in the pit, because the pit watcher actually lowers himself down on like a makeshift pulley. And looking down, very, very far down, you can see torchlight.
It's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Frelish, kind of back into her motherly demeanor now. She kind of jokingly tells you that while she would appreciate the company, of course, it will be very difficult to descend down into Pran's quarters with the heavy gear, to say nothing of your natural girth.
Believe me, I've climbed through worse in my training.
She peers out into the pit and asks you if you know what's at the bottom of this hole.
From what my companions tell me, I guess the Underdark?
It's a latrine.
With some doing, you take this rope and pulley system and you test it a little bit, and you're pretty sure it could bear your weight. I mean, it's designed to raise and lower materials sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
She tells you only one person can ascend or descend at a time, but you should be able to rappel down to Pran's first station, where he has several exploratory shafts, where he's set up little stations going down.
Okay.
She motions to the torchlight and says that's an indication that Pran is probably there. And then once you get down, just send the loop of rope back and pull the other side of it back up for her.
Okay, we'll do that.
And so you lower yourself down, and after a few moments, you do have dark vision, yes?
Yes.
After a few moments, you're just aware of just the cold darkness around you, this emptiness on all sides except for the wall in front of you, and for a moment, that's your whole universe. It's this very eerie feeling. But as you lower yourself down, and it's hard to tell exactly how far you've gone, but you start hearing just the echoey sound of whistling beneath you. It gets louder and louder as the torchlight gets closer and closer.
Like melodic whistling, or just the sound of wind going through a tunnel?
Like the sound of an old rat man whistling a jaunty tune.
That's what I figured.
Sound of windy going through a tunnel.
And as you get into presumably what is earshot, you hear from below Pran say something in the rat folk language that might be a greeting, but then he abruptly stops, as though he's startled and surprised to see who it is coming down.
Responds in dragon in the dragon language. Did he understand dragon? The dragon language? I can't forget. Or
Prawn spoke
Draconic?
common.
Okay.
Prawn's able to understand common.
All right. Well,
Prawn,
Raazu will respond in
Sizz,
common.
Bad Ears, and Frelish, and then a couple of the elders can.
Yeah, Raazu will respond in common. It's Raazu. I'm coming down. There's issues up top.
Well, this all happens before the commotion.
Mm-hmm.
That has not occurred yet.
Oh, right. Okay, then Raazu will just say, I'm coming down. Frelish will be down in a minute. I wanted to ask you some things.
And his little station here, it's It's a ledge which is probably big enough to be comfortable for rat folk, but you certainly wouldn't want to fall asleep on this ledge. It's maybe
No.
10 feet or so from the edge, but you see he's made it quite comfortable with a straw mat that he has. You see he does indeed have a torch sconce in the wall, illuminating part of the cave. And looking down lower, you see he's got another rope and bucket system kind of hoisted up, and you do see very far down below another spark of fire. He also has a little cook stove in the area, some personal effects, and it looks like this is where he actually lives. It looks like this is where he actually sleeps.
Makes sense.
And you start setting the rope back up, and
Yep.
Pran kind of looks at you surprised. Bloody hell, I wouldn't have expected it to hold the weight.
Raazu grins. Made it better than you thought it did, huh?
And you wait a moment, having pleasant small talk with Pran, waiting for Frelish to descend. But she doesn't. You wait a few minutes, longer than you would expect for the rope to start moving, and it doesn't.
Raazu looks up.
Birdie.
Yep.
Make a Constitution saving throw. Let's see if all the noise and commotion wake you up.
Is he doing a disadvantage because poison?
Poison isn't disadvantage on saves, is it?
Oh.
I don't know. I can tell you because
It's
I
just
have the little
disadvantage on
thing.
ability checks and to hit rolls.
Okay then.
But I'm also exhausted, so
You are exhausted, yes.
Which is, I think,
That's also
also ability
ability checks.
checks.
Anyway, that it would be a 19.
19. No, you are out like a light. The commotion does not wake you up. Adrex, how many rolls did it take for you to amass 10 successes?
12.
12.
Yeah.
You're going to be gone for 12 days. There and
You
back.
should have seen what I rolled. Not believe me.
I'm sure you'll write a blog
got-
post about it.
I got 3 20s.
Are you serious?
1/4 of my rolls were 20s.
Adrex,
Yeah.
roll initiative.
Okay.
Ten.
10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, you're not gonna want to roll a 10.
Okay, so you are surprised
That's donkey. All right.
because you were unconscious at the time because you're sleeping in the wilderness alone.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't get my nat 20 that I wanted. AC 22.
Yeah, just hits.
Okay. Go ahead and take 6 points of piercing damage.
All right.
Plus 22 points of sneak attack damage. And you
All right.
bolt awake in the middle of the night after several days' journey over land. And it's very... Go ahead and take the benefits of a short rest. You would have gotten that out there
All right.
at the time. But yeah, you bolt awake at night. Have you been making a fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's cold, right?
It's very
Well,
cold.
Cold doesn't bother Adrex, but he would make a fire. Yes.
Okay. And yeah, you bolt upright to literal stabbing pain, where there's somebody has knifed you in the neck, and you scrabble around to grab your weapon, and you don't get to act in the first round because you surprised. But you're no longer unconscious, but you are prone, so I get advantage on my second roll against you too.
Prone, eh? All right.
Where you sleep? Well, you do know how to perch. I forgot. Were you perched asleep?
Rolled to perch.
No, definitely not.
Got a 23 to hit you.
It just hits.
Just hit.
That's a bummer.
23 on perching.
4 points of stabbing damage,
Yeah.
and then 18 of sneak attack damage from the second stab.
Man, sneak attack damage sucks when you're on the end of it.
Some kind of small humanoid creature, and it's difficult to tell because you've just got the dying embers of your fire in the middle of the night. But some small humanoid birdie-sized creature has just ambushed you in the middle of the night and stabbed you twice viciously in the neck. And you get to act now.
Do you
All right.
suspect it might be Birdie?
It's not Birdie because you become aware as you're scrabbling for your weapon and getting to your feet that this thing has wings.
All right, let's bonus action to ignite my Fey Claymore.
And in the light of the small claymore, you see the Kobold Bat Ears with a bloody dagger. And he's grinning, sneering evilly at you.
Really?
Yep.
That's Adrex's response.
Oh, okay. And he tells
This is
you,
the thing.
he
This
tells
is the
you
thing we're doing.
it's nothing personal. And he's moving forward to stab you a third time. But you're on. You have the action now. You're up.
Nothing personnel.
It's
kid.
nothing personal. All right, let's stab him in the face.
Stab his ears off.
They're already bad.
Yeah. It's a 13 to hit.
13 will not hit.
What about if I
What about?
let's add a die to it. How does a 23 do you?
That'll hit.
All right, that's one superiority die. That'll do. That is 3 piercing, 8 fire.
Okay.
And please make a
What kind of save?
strength.
He's not good at these. I got a 9.
9? No, he needed to make a DC 17. So he takes an additional 9 damage.
Okay.
And his bitch ass is prone now!
He is prone.
Yeah, because a tripping attack.
Whether his ass is a bitch has yet to be decided.
He's a kobold. Come on.
Moving or staying put? Are you staying on top of him here?
No, I got plenty more attacks, sir.
Oh, okay.
Right,
My-
second attack at
my-
advantage because he's prone.
My
Yeah,
poor innocent Erd who hasn't done
He has
anything
some
wrong.
sort of surge of actions.
it's a 14.
14 does not hit.
Does not hit. All right. I've used the bonus action to light the Feymore, so I can't attack with my hand. But
But
I do, in fact, have action surge, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to make another attack
Okay.
because he's still
Immediately
prone.
after your
It's
rest.
still advantage.
still a bitch ass.